What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Short-Sighted Podcast. Really excited for this one, getting into the gambling for this week's and betting for this week's BMW Championship. So excited to play some bets. I think we have a pretty good read on the golf course, the field, all that kind of stuff, just by looking through the first few weeks of the playoffs. So I'm feeling pretty good about this one, Schilzy. What about you?
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be good. Just next level of the playoffs. Going to be a little different than most weeks, just because top 70 guys, no cut. So you got 4 rounds to kind of get your business done, and we'll see who makes it to Eastlake.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, just because there has not been too many tournaments played at Olympia Fields. Looking at past tournaments to try to get a read on the golf course, you have to go back to 2003 with the U.S. Open. I guess the 2015 U.S. Amateur, if we're talking really about one guy, being Bryson. But there's not too much historical data in terms of recently. So I know it's a big boy golf course. It's a big ballpark. I was interested looking back at some of the 2003 results, how many short hitters played well in the top 10. Obviously, had Furyk win it by 3 at -8, which is pretty low for a U.S. Open course. I believe it was around 7,200 yards. So for 2003, that's a pretty big golf course. But you had guys like Verplank, Billy Mayfair, Nick Price, guys like that in the top 10, which was pretty surprising. So I was surprised to see such a long golf course, U.S. Open golf course, have so many short hitters finish up on the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, with the way the par 4s shake out here, I mean, it's a par 70, even at 7,200 yards. That's a pretty long track, and just with the approach shots coming in, especially with the equipment back in 2003, majority of them 175 to 200 plus. It's pretty crazy to see that so many short hitters actually played really well there. And one thing from just like the press conferences today that DJ said, I forget who was interviewing him, but he was like, yeah, this course is like, it's one of those things where you need to be in the fairway. There's no tricks or things like that, but he was just like, the green complexes are really firm. And they're not crazy, but approaching it from 80 yards closer to the green from the rough is going to be 10 yards or 10 times harder than approaching it from the middle of the fairway. So like hitting fairways is definitely going to be a premium for a place like this.
Right. Well, that makes sense why those short straight hitters did so well. So that's interesting, because going into it, I would have thought it would be the other way. I would have liked the Bombers. And I mean, obviously Bryson won here in 2015. It was obviously a different Bryson than we're seeing now.
That's a different Bryson.
But I'm sure he was plenty long back then, but he wasn't obviously what we're looking at now. But you still have to like him going into this week. I kind of like how he didn't have a great week last week, because I just don't see how that guy's playing to have 2 really bad weeks in a row. So I like how he has good history. Kind of have to talk about the Divot the dog issue, which is a wild kind of a wild story to come out of the early week there, where they apparently made up that this the golf course dog essentially was there and helped Bryson throughout the U.S. Amateur. He was there through it. They kind of like formed a friendship, and it came out today that he wasn't even alive. The dog was born in 2017. He wasn't even alive at that point. So kind of a weird, just another strange Bryson story that you come to
just
expect
a total curveball
early in the week. Yeah.
Has nothing to do with anything, but you would, if you just said that story to anyone and said, who is this about? It's got to be Bryson.
Got to be Bryson. Just making headlines about Divot the dog when, and I don't know if it was someone was just adding fuel to the fire, but somebody said that Divot the dog hasn't even stepped onto the golf course or something like that. So I don't know what to believe now. I don't know if I believe Bryson. It makes his entire video of him working out, it makes that seem fake. I'm questioning all of Bryson's stuff right now.
And also, you're perpetuating the fake news. His name's not even Divot; it's Trigger.
It's Divot. Where did I see Divot? Oh, man.
I don't know. I'm looking at the thing right now. It says Trigger.
It's Trigger. Oh man,
Trigger the dog.
So I take that back. So I'm seeing, there's fake news all over. I swear I saw Divot from somebody on Twitter. Obviously can't believe that. So Yeah, fake news all around. Fake news on this show. Fake news on Twitter. It's all out there.
To pull this thing back on the rails, the two quotes from Media Day today. DJ on Olympia Field setup. It doesn't matter really what you hit off the tee. The only way to attack the golf course is out of the fairway. Greens are firm and fast, got a lot of slope on them, so you really need to be able to control the golf ball coming into them. And Louis also said, can't afford to miss the fairways around here. I've seen the front nine. I haven't been out to the back yet, but yeah, I think I'd rather be in bunkers, than the rough. It's really thick, and it's going to be difficult controlling the golf ball out there if you can get it to the green on some of the holes. So it's fairways and greens, ball striker's paradise kind of day.
The one takeaway I got from that is DJ definitely took his Adderall today, because that quote was amazing from DJ. I was not expecting that out of DJ. I was like, he's still talking?
Remember to fade it.
Yeah, remember to fade it.
Yeah. You want to get into some picks?
Yeah, so let's get into our picks today. I think we have what we're going to do is every week we're just going to do kind of a 6-pack. So we're going to give you our 6 picks that we really like, kind of go through it, why we like these guys. This is going to be an interesting one because we're going back to 2003, going back to college tournaments to try and get a read on this golf course. So it's going to be interesting, some of the picks that I like. But yeah, you want to go like 3-3-3-3, just kind of go right off the bat and switch it up.
Let's go 1-1. Just fire back and forth. 1-1. All right. Go back and forth. Who you got first?
All right. So this is kind of an interesting. I'll go with my interesting one first. So the one read I got from Olympia Fields, this is kind of my out there pick, is, and after seeing those college results though, which I'm sure you'll get into, is and we'll get into a little bit later, is Matthew Wolff played well there in college. But I also think it's a weird swingers golf course. You have Furyk win, you have Bryson win, who he's not straight up, and he has a little weird swing. He goes with the one plane swing. Obviously uses single length clubs. Danielle Kang obviously has a great swing, so that kind of throws a wrench into it. But I'm going Matthew Wolff top 20 as my one pick. It helped that he played so well in there at Olympia in the college tournaments, and then I just really like that he has that weird swing. So that's kind of my weird one, that I'm just, for whatever reason, weird swings perform well at Olympia. So I'm going Matthew Wolff as top 20. We're not getting carried away here.
All right. Well, I am getting carried away because one of my 6 was Matthew Wolff to win at 55-1.
I would like that. 55-1. I like
55-1. I grabbed that Monday morning. It is now down to about 40-45, depending on where you look. But, I think Matthew Wolff, hate me, but he should have won the PGA Championship. He gained more strokes tee to green and more strokes off the tee and more strokes approach than anyone in the field. He literally just could not putt. If he made a fraction of his putts, if he putted just remotely average, he would have won. Last week, he had an awesome first 2 rounds. He was sitting at 10 under, a couple off the lead, and then just went into the absolute tank on Saturday. But I think it's like you said, it's a place he's played before. I'll give you the angle of a weird swingers golf course. I don't know where that comes from, but fine.
Hey, it's true.
I'll take it if you want to find an angle that way. But I'm in. Matthew Wolff.
I will say too, if I played that golf course in 2006 and I had like mid 80s that day, and me, that's not a great number for me, and how I have a classically beautiful golf swing. Someone call it flawless. So that's another reason that weird swingers, I kind of wish I was swinging it weird back then, but to have a great golf swing, great golf game, sometimes it just doesn't pan out there. So that's another reason. I have a personal history with the golf course. So
there you go.
That could go the other way, actually, because 85 is actually pretty good for me, and I do have a weird swing. So actually, it's the complete opposite of what I was saying. But before you go further, actually, because you have that breakdown of the college results that they had, why don't you read those off? Because I have a few other guys that are going to be on there. Spoiler alert, that I want to kind of reference that. So why don't you, if you have them on you, read off the what kind of those results were in the Collegiate Open or whatever.
Sure. So that was the Illini Invitational. And 2018, Matthew Wolff won it at 6 under. Colin Morikawa was second at 5 under, and then Victor Hovland was T6 at 1 under. So 2017, both Wolff and Morikawa were T13. They finished at 1 over. In 2016, Cameron Champ won it at 5 under, and then in 2015, Mav McNeely won it at 7 under, and Wyndham Clark was 1 under T6. John Rahm T9 at +1, and Scotty Scheffler and Cameron Champ as well were T22 at +7.
Wow, T22 at +7. That's insane.
Yeah.
How hard that must be playing. Okay, so that's my. Well, why don't you go number 2? We'll go kind of snake draft.
Okay, so I have been betting professional golf for 8 years now, and I have never seen this player have a number this high ever. So it is undeniable. I have to take it. Rory McIlroy at 19-1. I said it last night. I've never seen Rory like under 12, and he's usually under 10. But Rory at 19-1. Last I checked on DraftKings Sportsbook, it's down to about 14 or 15. But it's like I can't not take it.
Right.
And this has been something that's happened pretty frequently since the restart after COVID, where books have been hanging some weird numbers on guys, and they've been coming through. Like I hit DJ at the Travelers at 28-1 for no reason.
Wow.
He was 28-1. Memorial hit John Rahm 22-1. He's sitting right there, and everyone else is 10, 12, 14, 16-1. And, the forgotten man, the best guy in the field, the guy that usually wins it, it's the highest odds. So even back at the WGC in Memphis, I hung a 30-1 on Brooks, and JT happened to run him down. But it's been guys that have big numbers. And just looking at last week, I know Rory had some crazy comments about it. He's not motivated, all that kind of stuff, and he's not been playing great. But when I look at the statistics, it's really been his irons that have been letting him down. He lost 2.2 strokes at St. Jude. He lost 2 strokes on approach at the Travelers. Last week in Boston, he gained 5.1 strokes gain approach, and it is the first week since the Farmers at the beginning of January where he lost strokes off the tee. Let's be honest, he's the best driver of the golf ball ever. If he's able to approach like he has, and that problem's fixed, the driver is going to revert back to normal, and he'll be right there. Rory 19-1, lock me in. Cross my fingers.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that because it's. I mean, and I think last week was a little skewed. Just watch it. Like, obviously, he had like 7s and 8s. He had these big numbers, and he actually did. I think the final round he finished at -2 in the 4th round. So he kind of brought back together. And obviously, that wasn't a great day at TPC Boston because guys were going so low. But it's a completely different golf course. It's more of a course that I think suits his game. I mean, like you said, if hitting in the fairway is paramount, he's the best driver of the golf ball there is. So if he can find that driver again, he's going to be tough to beat there, I would think.
Yeah. And put it this way. We can both agree that Rory's been playing terrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't missed a cut since the restart. He hasn't been playing well. Yeah. He doesn't have a top 10, but he hasn't missed a cut. 19-1 is a ridiculous number. So that'll be my number 2 for you.
All right. I like that. I like that pick. Number 2 for me, I'm going with, I'll just go with my horse that I'm riding. I can't stay away from it. I'm going Bryson. He played poorly last week. The 2015 Amateur is in my mind. He feels good. Divots there, triggers there, the dog's there. I don't know. I think that, when you win a tournament like that, he has to have good vibes there. And he kind of played poorly last week, so he's going to bounce back. So he's going to be there, I feel like. So I think he can finally stick it out. And I have to imagine that this course is fairly similar to Detroit Golf Club, kind of a classic Midwestern golf course, old school. Obviously, he just won there. I mean, the driving, hitting in the fairway, I'm going completely against that because he just bombs it as far as he can. But no, I like Bryson this week.
Cool. Have him. Take it. Price is too expensive.
What is he?
Bryson right now is 13-1, unbettable. Seeing as I have a 50 to 1 Masters ticket that I placed 3 months ago, yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's insane. You sent that the other day, 50-1. I'm like, when did you get that in like 2005? Like when did you get that number?
Oh, we're stacked for the Masters. Yeah.
Going Rory there?
You're not going to believe the Rory ticket I have for the Masters. So assuming this is a little sidebar, I'll just tell you this story. People might like this as well. But anytime I have a little extra in the account, I'll go and kind of browse the major futures. And last fall, assuming the Masters was going to be in April, let's see, we're unsettled. I have a ticket for Rory. I placed this December 26th, 2019. Rory McIlroy to win the Masters in 2020 at 10-1. Parlayed with the Tennessee Titans to beat the Houston Texans, who won 35-14 at -182. And then I had parlayed with the Denver Broncos to beat the Oakland Raiders, and they won 16-15 on a last-minute crazy play. So I have Rory at 27-1 to win the Masters.
That might be the greatest bet of all time. If that does win, if he pulls that out, and you can say like, yeah, remember last season in the playoffs? Yeah, I parlayed Rory with that, and he won. I mean, a year in between, that has to be the craziest parlay of all time if you do pull it off.
I mean, I had one that was slightly crazier 2 years ago during the college football championship. I had Georgia to beat Auburn, parlayed with Rory to win the Masters. Oh no, I had Georgia to win the national championship, and that's when Alabama won in overtime or double overtime or whatever for the national championship. Remember that?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Parlayed with Rory, and it was, but Rory didn't win it anyway. That was obviously.
That was for the 2019 Masters, right?
Yeah. Okay. But we have a live ticket right now. Rory to win the Masters, parlayed with the Tennessee Titans, parlayed with the Broncos back in 2019.
You said Broncos Raiders?
It was Broncos Raiders. That game that ended 16-15, and then the Titans over the Texans 35-14.
Wow, that's awesome. I would be bummed if, I mean, obviously as a Bills fan, if the Bills would have won that game and it would have been Titans over Bills, I'd be salty about it, but it's Titans over Houston. I'm fine with that.
Right.
Take that bet.
Good there. All right, so I'll go next. Let's see, I'll go next. So, again, the way I like to run these things, I very rarely dip under 20-1, but obviously we have 70 guys in the field, and a top level golfer is going to win it. I won't dip as low as you did with Bryson, but I will go back to Xander without a doubt. Xander 17-1. It's kind of like the age old thing that Xander loves no cut events. Give him 4 rounds, he's going to peak at some point. He hasn't finished worse than T20 or T25 since the Travelers. He's on a nice little run. He's not doing anything great, but he's not doing anything terrible. And when you look back to like his just WGC record, no cut events, 6-14-2, 27-14-1. Like that's going back to 2018. So
no cut events. I was thinking that's going to be that's a big thing. Some guys just play better, I'm sure, when they can swing a little more freely and not worry about, if they do worry about missing the cut. You think Xander would be past that, being that he's done pretty well for himself. But it's interesting to see how those guys are affected by WGCs, no cut events, whatever it may be.
Right. And it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I'm not breaking any news that he loves no cut events. Like he always kind of shows up in them. But just looking at the breakdown of the course, like it's long, it's straight. He's DJ Light, man. He hits it long and straight. He's not as tall. He's not as big. He's just like a little less, but like I'll take Xander all day. Xander, Rory, love to have those two at the top over anyone else underneath them.
Yep.
At a cheaper
And
price.
getting Rory at, like you say, you don't like to dip. I mean, this week you have to ride a few horses that are going to dip below 20-1 just because of the nature of a 70-person event and no-cut event and stuff like that. So I think if there's one week you throw that rule to the wind, it's this one.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to go with a top 10. Bryson's going to be my only winner this week because I like some top 10, and I've 2 top 10, 2 top 20 bets, and I may go a winner for the last one. But being that's a short hitters golf course, what I kind of said, looking into that and seeing that short hitters do relatively well, I'm going Kiz. I think he's one of those guys that obviously is playing well. He had a good finish last week. And it's just one of those courses where he's even said it, where if a course is a long hitter golf course, he just can't compete. And this is one of those courses where if you hit fairways, if you're straight, guys obviously contend. So I like Kisner top 10 this week. I mean, I feel like he lives in the top 20. So if you give him a little edge of a golf course that suits him, I think top 10, he can easily sneak into there on the weekend. If I had a little more balls, I would go to win because I think he actually has a good chance at it. But I'm gonna stay safe. Do Kiz top 10 this week.
I like it. That's a nice play. My third will be Hatton to win 35-1. Tyrrell Hatton.
Tyrrell, the angry golfer.
The angry man.
Like I would love to see him win.
He's great, man. He's an elite putter. He's so good around the greens. And we talked about this place is all long par fours. The majority of the holes are going to be approaches from 175 to 200 over the last 24 rounds on tour. Who's number one from that distance? Tyrrell Hatton. I'll take him. Yep. 35-1. Book it.
I like that. All right. So Hatton. My next one is going to be a top 20. It's the boyfriend of the women's PGA champion, Mav McNeely. When I saw those college records come out and he played great there, that even just further cemented my pick. But I'm going Mav McNeely top 10, or no, sorry, top 20. Top 20 for Mav, and going Mav top 20. I think whatever it may be, good vibes. He obviously has that from college. Maybe DK can give him his her yardage book or something like that. So I like Mav top 20. That's what I'm going with.
I like that.
Yeah. Got to give my girl DK a little props, even though Mav is kind of my rival, but because of that. But no, I think whatever it may be, maybe she'll give him some insights. He'll feel good going into the week, and then he's played well there in college. So I like Mav top 20.
I just pulled up some stats, and I will not endorse that pick. But good pick, JB. Good pick. All right, my next one I think you'll like a lot. Not a guy I usually go to. He did win me a nice ticket at Riviera earlier this year, but Adam Scott.
Ooh, a Scott.
Adam Scott, 50-1 to win. So usually anything 50 or up, I'll usually put like a T5, take a portion of what I would bet and put that on top 5. So like you're winning a little something, even if you get like a second, but I won't do anything under 50-1, but over to 50-1, I will. And that's really the big thing with Adam Scott that I like here is number one, he's played the course before, back in 2003, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, he had to play. I'm not sure where he finished, but yeah, he had to be, because I think he won the 2003 Players. So I think he was.
He played the course in 2003. And also, this is, I think, the first time we've seen Adam Scott back-to-back weeks. Biggest thing with Adam Scott coming to the PGA was like, we don't know how he's going to be, what kind of shape he's in, whatever. He played decently well, but like he wasn't sharp. I guess you can say he kind of showed up in Boston. I mean, he was 58th, but his approaches were fine. Tee to green was fine. Like he just lost strokes putting. I'm not worried about that because Adam Scott can't putt, period. So let's get Adam Scott in a groove. 50 to 1 with a T5 each way.
I like that.
Yeah.
50 to 1 for Ace Scott. I mean, he's one of those guys that, like you said, played there in 03, so he's played the course before. He's should be hanging around by the weekend. Like he should be there. And you know, he's all about cashing that check now, and you cash it either way. So might as well put a little work into it. So I like that pick. Ace got 50 to 1. I mean, that's a crazy number to get a guy that good at. A guy who has, that good of a game, and all he has to do is just get hot 4 days, and he's finishing right up there.
All right. Yep.
Let's see. Yep. So my last is going to be kind of a boring pick. I'm rolling with the hot hand and going Berger top 10. I'm not going to go to win, but he's playing so well these last few weeks. I know this is more your area, but seeing some strokes gained, he's been up on the top of there. He's been playing lights out. I'm rolling with the hot hand. Berger top 10. Yeah, that's who I'm sticking with. I think
Fair enough.
Sometimes these guys, especially in the playoffs, I feel like where it's back to back to back, playing these big boy golf courses, playing in high pressure situations where you have these the FedEx Cup on the line. However much these guys care about it, it shows a lot. I think he caught fire when he wanted to, and so that's my guy. I'm only doing Bryson to win, but other than that, I got 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s. Berger's my second top 10.
Cool. All right, so I got one more, and then we'll call a couple lottery tickets.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my last one is Mr. Bubba Watson at 100 to 1 with a T5 each way. So Bubba to win at 100 to 1. At the end of the day, Bubba can pump the ball out there. He hits fairways like crazy. He's 10th on tour in good drives gained, 13th in ball striking, 28th in par fours from 450 to 500 yards. And he played really, really well last week. And, he likes putting on POA. He's just got tracks that he likes. Just visualizing this place, I think it's going to be like some of those California courses, the places where he likes to play. He gained strokes in the field in every category last week and finished 18th. So I like Bubba 100 to 1 with a T5 each way there. And then what we'll call some lottery tickets. You mentioned one of these guys. But the biggest thing with not dipping under 20 to 1 very often is you kind of just have to pray that, the big game hunters don't eat your lunch. So, keep in mind, this isn't the only golf event going on this weekend. Okay. We have European Tour.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some European Tour action going on. So this weekend, the Euros are playing at the Belfry over in England. Yeah, pretty cool place. It's the ISPS Honda UK Championship. And there's one gentleman there that I really like who's been playing phenomenally is Gavin Green. Keep in mind, he's 157th in the world. But his last couple times out, he was T8 in Wales at the Wales Open. He was T11 at the Celtic Classic. Missed the cut in the English Championship, but in Qatar he was 12th. Oman Open 18th. In the Saudi he was T3. And pretty much other than that one miscut, hasn't missed a cut since 2019. So playing really well. He's 25 to 1. And keep in mind, we're not throwing too much on this, but I took John.
And this
Rahm.
Is not Galvin Green, not the clothing brand. This is actually a golfer, correct? Okay.
Gavin Green. This is actually a person. Yes.
This is actually a human. Okay.
The other guy who's interesting in that field is Hao Tong Lee, who's just top 50 guy in the world. So what I did was I took a couple shekels and I took John Rahm and Daniel Berger and parlayed them with each of them. So we have Daniel Berger and Gavin Green to both win at 413 to 1. We have Daniel Berger and Hao Tong Lee to both win at 341 to 1. And originally I had Webb Simpson in these and not Daniel Berger, but Webb withdrew. But so Rahm and Gavin Green is 252 to 1, and then Rahm and Haotong Li is 208 to 1. So it's $5. Who cares? Win a grand, or more.
That's nice. I like those picks.
We call it the lotto ticket. So if Berger and Gavin Green wins, a $5 bet will win you $2 grand. Hey,
I like that. That might be my my 6-pack ticket. I think I may have only done 5, so I think that might be my 6-pack. Do some parlays, because usually I've been doing these matchup parlays, which I think, as a disclaimer on a betting gambling podcast, anyone listening, don't do matchup parlays, because it's the worst bet in sports. It looks so sexy when you put it in. It's like, oh, all I have to do is pick 3 matchups to win. If you put a $10 bet, it's like a couple $100, and they never pan out. So that may have to be that might have to be the bet to get the parlay juices flowing for me, since I'm done. I've sworn off matchup parlays, but I may do a few matchups.
Yeah, I will fully say that, doubles between the PGA Tour and European Tour are near impossible to hit. But in a 70-man field like this, and even next week in a 30-man field, like, why not? Like, why not?
Yeah.
So,
it's probably the best chance to hit one.
Yeah, protect yourself against the Brysons and the JTs of the world. So, I'm protecting myself against Rahm and Daniel Berger, because I'm not spending 17 to 1 on Daniel Berger. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's insane. That's why I'll take him at a top 10. It can't be the odds cannot be very good there, but yeah, for anyone like that to win, I mean, I think golf odds are drastically lower than they should be. I mean, anytime DJ is like 6 or 8 to 1, or Koepka, or Tiger in his prime in the early 2000s should have been like 6 to 1 or like 5 to 1, something like that. When you get these guys, DJ,
minus 600.
Yeah, and I would take him at that, but it's like, now it's, I don't know. I agree with you, where there's just no value in betting those favorites. Where there is value, I agree with finding guys like a Rory, or where you get DJ, 20 to 1 and up. That's an insane value, where, like you said with Rory this week, it's just, you have to take it.
Yep. So,
all right, Schilzy, I think that's all for this week. I think we gave everyone a pretty good board to go off of. Throughout the podcast, we're going to put that on the screen as well. So even right now, we'll put on the screen all of our bets, so you can see exactly what we're working with, the odds, and everything like that, all of our picks. I think we have a good read on the board this week. I think we have a good read on the golf course. I'm excited. I think this could be a pretty lucrative week for the short-sighted boys, for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. And if not, there's always next week.
Always next week. Hopefully you guys get rich off of us. If not, then this is we're not responsible for that. But if you do get rich, we are responsible. So definitely subscribe if you hit one of our bets. So, but yeah, I think that's it for the betting podcast. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next week, same day, for the Tour Championship. Smaller field. We're going to have some good bets for that one. So, I think that's all we got. Schilzy, you got anything else?
Berger Green for the win. Lotto ticket. Let's go.